Yo, what's going on, everybody? Ghost here. Today I'm bringing you guys another comparison video between the NZ-41 and bar. Now, a few days ago, we ended up making another comparison video that had to do with the bar, in which we talked about if the bar had become the #1 AR. And as the days have gone by since the update, I see a lot more people, agreeing that the bar is a pretty top AR. I've been seeing a lot of conversation about the Bren SMG, which, I'm hoping to get to soon, maybe, because I don't really have that gun leveled up, and I don't really feel comfortable using it and completely talking about it, because I barely have it leveled up. But I'll try to, because I've been seeing a lot of talk about the weapon. A lot of people are calling that the next meta, or if not already is the meta, but I still think the bar is still a heavy or a contender for it, and along with the guns such as the NZ-41, because NZ-41, man, one of my biggest issues with it a few days ago was, although it was good, the bloom and the accuracy was really tough, but now that it's been completely reduced, it's just, man, the gun is so much better, and today we're just going to talk about it. But before we do, I want to say if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. One over 2,000, every sub helps, and I'm always thankful for each and every one of you guys, and yeah, man, with that being said, though, let's get into this comparison. And here we have the recoil pattern for the NZ-41, and if you guys don't know, this NZ-41's recoil is absurd, or the base one it is, and actually it seems a little bit more toned down, because if you watch some of my, or I guess the comparisons that I made a few days ago with the NZ-41, the base recoil pattern looks a little bit different, because the original one used to literally go all the way left, and then it would come back all the way, bro, it was all over the place. This one seems a little bit more toned down. It still was pretty ridiculous, but definitely a little bit more toned down. And overall, man, this gun definitely feels a lot more accurate in game. I thank God they removed bloom, because I really feel like bloom was affecting this gun very, very hard. And now that they got rid of it, I actually ended up putting a recoil booster on this gun, which has made it a lot much better, but a little bit harder to control. Because in a lot of cases, man, I wasn't able to control this gun at certain ranges. Like at this range right here, man, it'd be tough for me to fully control this gun. And I mean, I like the challenge. I do like the challenge. It's definitely a change of pace than Modern Warfare Colder Weapons, where it was literally easy to use. You didn't have to do any effort to it. And speaking of that, I actually ended up making that adjustment because I was playing the normal duos instead of Vanguard Royale, because they ended up taking out Vanguard Royale duos in the latest playlist update. And so I was playing duos against every weapon. And I gotta be honest, man, these comparisons really only apply to Vanguard Royale. I really don't see these weapons being too much better or that much better than Modern Warfare and Cold War weapons. I think the only reason why we're using them is because it's new. We don't want to use the old meta, and it's understandable. But in reality, man, I don't see any of these weapons, or ARs, I mean, necessarily being better than like the M2, AK, or even XM4. Granted, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really see much of that when I was playing. A lot of people were using Vanguard weapons, which is great. People are using something new, but I just feel like if I went up against some of the old ARs, I'd probably get put down. But I feel like a lot of people are enjoying Vanguard Royale anyway, so we make the comparison anyway. And what can I say, man? This NZ-41 since day one has been pretty reliable. I mean, hell, it got called the meta on day one. Right now, I wouldn't say it's like the meta. I definitely think it's a really solid AR. I would definitely put it top 3, because now that the bloom is gone, this gun feels a lot more accurate. And yeah, you can get away with it without using the recoil booster, but I would highly recommend it to you, because the thing about this weapon and the bar, like, both of them have slow fire rates and they have high damage, but with the bar you can 4-shot somebody, so it doesn't really matter how fast you shoot. Whereas the NZ-41, you're not 4-shotting people. You are melting people, but you can easily get outgunned if another gun has a faster fire rate than you. And I think the recoil booster is a great addition to the gun, especially if I was to change the underbarrel, I think I could get more control on it, because at the end of the day, man, you don't need accuracy anymore. I don't, or at least I think you don't need accuracy. Don't quote me on that. But since like accuracy was the thing that neglected bloom, I don't know, man. Maybe it might still have some sort of impact on your guns, but I think recoil control is something that you should really be focusing on. And I gotta, quite honestly, I didn't do that for this class setup. I still have essentially the same attachments as if it was the old NZ-41. The only thing I did change was the recoil booster, but maybe, on my off time, I'll probably go take a look at it again with some different attachments to see if I can get it to be a little bit more accurate, bro. Because that range, man, I just can't control this gun. I gotta be honest. I cannot control this gun at all. But I know a lot of you guys out there probably will be able to. And if you can, this gun is monstrous, bro. Because when you're able to get someone, or you'll be able to hit every shot, whew, man, this gun kills extremely fast. It's not bar level fast, but it kills fast in its own way. But when it comes to like going up against all these other ARs from Modern Warfare and Cold War, it can get a little tough. Like maybe at medium range, it could medium range it can definitely compete, but Long range, bro. I just don't. These Vanguard weapons, man, they don't got that Cold War and Modern Warfare range. They just don't got it. Like, maybe I got the wrong class of us, but they do not have those ranges. But yeah, man. With that being said, though, let's get into the bar. And then we have the recoil pattern for the bar, which, as you guys can see, man, is completely different from the NZ-41. But funny enough, these two are just as hard to control. Like, they are both similar in how hard it is to control, especially at range. And that's one bad thing about these guns. I feel like at range, they just don't have it, man. Like, if you compare them to Cold War or Modern Warfare weapons, they don't got it at range. But I would say this. We spent 2 years pretty much with metas of no recoil weapons. So I'm kind of glad this is the case for these guns, that it's kind of hard to use. It has been a difficult transition period for me, I'm not going to lie. But I enjoy the learning process of becoming one with these guns. Because, you know, back then, with the old metas, it was so easy to just pick them up, use the class set of the same attachments on every gun, and boom. It shoots straight and it kills fast. And that was the meta. And now it's like, people have no idea what to use. Everyone's saying this gun's meta. Like, they're saying bar. They might say NZ-41, might say STG, Brent. Like, right now the conversation is crazy. Granted, the update did come out a few days ago. People still aren't really sure what the meta is. I think it's starting to solidify itself a little bit more, with that being the Brent and bar. But I still think there's conversation to be had, hence this video, where we're exploring these weapons since that update and trying to build like a solid list to rank them. Because, you know, we have the automaton, which we did 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and at this point, I think the automaton isn't top 5, might not even be top 10 considering how we built these lists. And these two guns, man, they're definitely, in my opinion, top 5 from what I've used and from what I've seen. And you know, I mean, both of these guns, like, listen, they got the damage, right? The fire rates might be slow. Yes, you can up the fire rate on every Vanguard weapon, and in this case, the NZ-41's fire rate is actually pretty fast considering the attachment that I put on them. But the NZ-41, although it has that fast fire rate and it has the high damage, to me, it still doesn't come close to the bar. Because the bar, man, is literally has the potential to 4 or 5 shots the way you, depending on how you build your class setup. You can literally get a class setup, or even just damage max or whatever, to make it 4 or 5 shots. And it's absurd how fast this gun can kill. And I haven't even put on the recoil booster on the bar. I might have to, just to see how good I can make it. But in due time. And, you know, when it comes to this comparison specifically, I would have to say that the bar is the one I'm picking over the NZ-41. Not to say the NZ-41 is bad. The NZ-41 is an amazing weapon, by the way. Like, don't take this, my opinion, on whether or not a gun is bad. I'm just simply, I would prefer the bar over the NZ-41. Both of them really good, though. Hell, I think they're both top 3. I would say the brand, NZ-41, and bar, no particular order, are top 3. Because honestly, I don't know if I can put bar number 1 without having to use the brand. But I know that since everyone's using the brand, I know that gun must be good enough to be a top 3 weapon if everyone is putting their faith in it and using it. So I'm saying that's the top 3. I'll probably put the NZ-41 at number 3 though, and then bar and brand would have to fight over that number 1 spot, and then whoever loses would be number 2 spot. But so hopefully, I mean, I really got to get to this brand. Basically, what I'm saying, I got to get to this brand ASAP because that's what everyone's focused on right now, and we will get to that. I promise you guys, we will get to that. But yeah, man, like I said, man, both these weapons, man, NZ-41 and bar, very solid, and they do share a lot of similarities. Like, for example, you have damage. They're pretty similar fire rates if you exclude fire rate attachments aside from the mags, which also the mags are pretty similar. The NZ-41 does have the advantage, 50 versus 40, and just the overall difficultness of being able to control these weapons. Both of them are pretty difficult in my opinion to like fully control. Yeah, there's gonna be some instances where you'll be able to, and hell, some of you guys may be able to, and you know, you guys got it, bro. But for me, bro, both these weapons were pretty tough to use at range, just because, man, I would literally shoot everywhere. I would hit everything but my target. And that's just how bad I am with these guns, and I'm still learning now. I still am learning. But the good thing about the bar, which the NZ-41 doesn't have, is the ability to 4 or 5 shot people. And that's, I'm so high on this bar and damage because since they share similar fire rates, or at least in my opinion, they share similar fire rates, if you obviously exclude the fire rate attachments, but the magazines, the damage is what comes into play here. Now, see, normally, in terms of these Vanguard weapons, I would be talking about fire rate, because fire rate does matter a lot in this game mode of Vanguard, or Warzone Vanguard Edition, whatever. Fire rate does matter, and that's what a lot of, like, secondaries that have a high fire rate, or the kings at that. And you know. But in this case, man, since these two share a pretty similar fire rate because they're somewhat slow, I would say the damage in this case, man, yeah, definitely outshines the fire rate. But with that being said, man, these two weapons are very great. I would definitely recommend to you guys. You guys are already probably using them, so you don't really need my recommendation. But I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on both these weapons and which one you guys prefer and why. Again, I would prefer the bar. I just like the damage on it. The damage is undeniable. NZ-41 is up there too, but the bar just has to edge that by a little bit. And yeah, man, that being said, though, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.